Good evening and welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. MI5 have warned that the UK is under a real threat from three countries, Russia, Iran and China. And it is particularly talked about China. This is the MI5, I always want to say MFI, the MI5 director, Ken McCullum, today in his annual speech. So the China crisis has deepened. Starmer must start telling the truth. Do you agree with me? Tell me now. Put your comments down in the bottom. This is going to be one cracker of a show. As El Trainer says, good evening, John. Looking forward to this one. It should be a belter. Well, I shall try my best, but it's also down to what you have to say as well, guys. And my God, there's a lot to talk about. We have sold ourselves out to China for the last 30 odd years. They've taken over everything. They've got our steel. They were going to put our mobile phone system in. They're building our nuclear plants. We must be mental. We must be mental. The Chinese Communist Party has already beaten Britain, and that's before Starmer and this despicable spy story, which he still hasn't come out and been completely straight about, has he? Let's have your comments as quickly as possible, please. This is going to be a cracker. So good evening, welcome. It is the John Gaunt Show, and of course I'm John Gaunt. We're going deep into this story that Westminster, particularly the Labour government, doesn't want you to hear. It's a coincidence that today is the annual address by the director of MI5. He said that China is now one of the biggest threats to the United Kingdom. He went further. He said just a week ago, they disturbed an operation to destabilize our great country. He suggested that China is more of a threat and more dangerous than Islamist terror. Yet our government, Keir Starmer, is asleep at the wheel. He still hasn't answered the questions about the new embassy, the super embassy that we're building right on top of where we send all our communications to the United States. They're fuming about it. Although they have now put off that decision for a few weeks. He is panicking. You can hear his arse cheeks clanging now. But it's not just Starmer. It's successive governments. Sold off our steel. Sold off our coal. Gave away everything. And we've still got coal. We can still produce steel. But no, we're importing it in. And do you know what the major reason behind all this is? Those stupid green targets of Miliband. This is where that's coming from. That's put us in danger as well. So now even our wind farms, all the wind farms, apart from some which is built in Hull, most of it is Chinese technology. And then me and you, we can't escape some blame here. We want technology. We've all got our phones. We've all got our microwaves. We've got everything, haven't we? And we wanted it cheap. And we didn't really wonder about what kind of human rights abuses. Oh, yes. What slavery produces the phones for us. We just wanted it cheap. But we've given away our manufacturing base. We've got a situation now where the Chinese, I saw two of these the other day. I thought, oh, that's a new Range Rover. I looked closer. I didn't recognise the name on the badge. They're bloody Chinese cars. What the Chinese have done is they've copied them. And now they're importing them back into Britain. And they're meant to be quite a good car. And they're a hell of a lot cheaper. And there's no waiting list. But what's that going to do to JLR, to Jaguar? What is it going to do? It's the same with steel and the same with our coal. We've got enough coal underneath our feet to keep us going for years. Why have we closed down our coal-based steel plants and indeed our energy plants? Well, because of net zero. We've got to hit net zero. Why are we only manufacturing electric cars? Net zero. Why are we listening to that Burke, Ed Miliband? Oh, and then because of carbon, we import the coal from places like China. We import the coal. We are now even importing their bloody cars. What about their carbon footprint? They've opened, I think it's something like crazy, like 300 new coal-fired steel plants. We're importing their steel. Now we're almost totally dependent on the Chinese Communist Party. It's not just Starmer, it's all of them have left you in this position. I think it's disgraceful. But Keir Starmer does face serious questions about what he knew, when he knew it, and whether trade deals have been put ahead of our national security. It seems to me pretty obvious it has. They don't want to annoy the Chinese Communist government. We've got ministers over there at the moment trying to do deals. Why do we have to do deals? Well, 1, it's net zero. 2, we've got no manufacturing. And 3, it's Rachel Reeves. Her stupid bloody budget has bankrupted the country. So Starmer was desperate to get a trade deal with China to go along with his one with India and the United States. It's quite obvious they wanted that to plug the hole that she and him and the rest of the sixth formers in our government, the adults are taking over, have they? Buggery. They have put us in a dangerous position. Then out of the blue, up pops the boss of MI5 to say the biggest threat to us at the moment are state actors working for places like China, Iran, and indeed Russia. From our phones to our power stations, we've sold out British industry, but it's more than that, guys. We've sold out our sovereignty. That's what the political establishment class have done. Well, tonight I'm going to expose the truth behind the spy scandal. He's as guilty as FUCK, isn't he? The growing Chinese influence in Britain and what we've got to do to fight back. Look at the universities. They've basically taken over every university. And they're so clever. What the Chinese have done now is built these massive universities in their major cities. And now, instead of their students coming here, they're now saying, no, you're not allowed to leave the country. You can stay in China. And they've come over to this country, to Oxford, to Warwick. I know this has happened in Warwick because I know people who work there. Warwick University, and said, come on, why don't you come and work in China? Oh, I don't want to really go to China. We'll triple your wages. Boom, they've gone. So what they're going to do is they're going to screw us on the education front. Private schools closing. It ain't because of the VAT nonsense that they'd have you believe. It's purely because the Chinese are putting their money and protecting their country. And you know what? I'm not anti-Chinese. I wish we were more like that. We are ludicrous, closing our minds, starting with Thatcher, it's got to be said, getting rid of our steel industry, proper working class jobs. But of course, it's not high tech, is it? There won't be any high tech jobs, you divs, because AI is going to take over. And who's leading the AI charge? Yes, China. It's absolute madness. Sorry, I've gone off on one. Are you with me or are you against me? I'd like to have your opinions and I'd like to have them now. So please tell me what you think. Get commenting down the bottom and I'll be with you in a couple of moments. It's an absolute ridiculous situation our establishment class have put us in, but we're also to blame. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Let's have your opinion now, please. You can watch, of course, on Facebook, on Twitter, and, of course, on John Gaunt TV, my YouTube channel. Just get involved. Let's have this debate. Right. The UK's dangerous dependence on communist China has reached a breaking point. And the latest Westminster spy scandal that Starmer is up to his neck in is just the tip of a very large iceberg that could sink our country. The MI5 director, what's his name again? Ken McCullum. He says China is now a bigger threat than Islamist terror. Yet Keir Starmer has still not answered some very serious questions. One, has he put trade before our national security? I think he probably has. Should he resign if that's true? Has he failed to protect Britain, which, of course, is the first duty of any prime minister in any government? I say yes. I say he should resign anyway because he's useless. He's completely and utterly useless. He's got the personality of a recycled brown paper bag. We need him out ASAP, along with his useless chancellor, along with his useless Home Secretary. Have you seen the latest from her? Mahmood. She's going to give border control some sort of night glasses so they can see the migrants. It'll make no difference if they can see them at night. They come in the middle of the day anyway. Nobody arrests them. The only way to solve that is to rip up the ECHR. How have we allowed our country to become so dependent on Beijing? From our phones to our wind farms, even our nuclear power. The previous bunch of muppets, the Tories, they were going to give our mobile phone network effectively to a Chinese company as well. This isn't anti-Chinese people I'm talking about. It's anti the Chinese Communist Party. What about their human rights? We always hear about the human rights here. What about what they're doing to Muslims in China and other communities? What about the people who basically work as slaves to produce your and my mobile phone? Why are we importing coal and steel while our own industries and whole communities have been wrecked and left to rot? We're turning our blind eye to human rights abuses and the environmental destruction in exchange for cheap goods. Well, enough is enough. They have said they'll postpone this super embassy they were going to make in London, the decision on it, but it shouldn't be built anyway. It's on the old Bank of England where they used to print the banknotes, right next to where I used to go to work at the Sun. But that, more importantly, it's right on top of where all the cables, I'm sure it's more sophisticated than cables, go from Britain to America. The Americans are up in arms about it because they think the Chinese will spy. How do we root out this Chinese influence now from within? Is it too late? What does all of this mean for Britain's future? I think we are up a creek without a paddle. There's a real threat from China. Starmer is not the man to be able to deal with it. The guy from MI5, he impressed me, actually. What did you make of that? So we're talking UK politics. I'm John Gaunt. What about this influence of China? And what about national security? Do you believe that Starmer put our national security on the back burner just to try and get some trade deals with China? Because I do. 12 likes so far. If you like what I'm doing, please smash the like button. That's a good one here. I'll just read this one out. Frank Green says, whose side is our PM on? That is the question. You are absolutely right. And indeed the rest of the establishment, my friend. What can we do, though, the ordinary people? And then tonight, just before I came on air, there was just this terrible story that's dropped about Aston Villa. Now, as you know, I don't normally mention the Villa because they are big rivals, me being a Sky Blue fan. But they're meant to be playing an Israeli club, right? And they've announced today that no away fans are going to be allowed in their game into the Villa Park. I'm just trying to read this. I just found it here on my phone. Aston Villa can confirm the club has been informed that no away fans may attend the UEFA Europa League match with Maccabi Tel Aviv on Thursday, following instruction from the Safety Advisory Group. These are the people who issue the safety certificates. So we're now the laughing stock of the football world as well. He can't guarantee our safety. He can't guarantee the safety of Israelis. And then he tells us that Khan and singing things like From the River to the Sea is anti-Semitic. Well, that's nice. That's words. But as the song goes, Starmer, words are all you've got, mate. We need action. Let's ban these hate marches. Let's make sure that Israeli fans, Jewish fans, can go and watch football. Why are you allowing this to happen? Why? Because you're weak. You've got no spine. In fact, you've got the spine of a blancmange or an amoeba. I am fuming about this, and also the fact that our country has been sold out to the Chinese. There was a song about that many years ago. I can't remember how it went. But anyway, over to you now. What do you think about what's happening? And should Starmer resign, regardless of whether he's up to his neck in these lies? I mean, none of it makes sense. Oh, yeah, the civil servant answered, but he's not even the top civil servant. Well, he answered without speaking to you, Sir Keir. And you knew the case was collapsing and you didn't bother getting involved. Your only defence is you're incompetent. You're either incompetent or you were on China's side. Which is it, Sir Keir? Are you a traitor? I'm saying it loud. I'm saying it clear. Now, before I burst a blood vessel, you get more comments coming in and we'll come on to your views on this as well, please. I nearly gave out a phone number then. Oh, I wish it was a phone in because they would be going crazy. It's going crazy in the comments anyway. I'm coming to you now, I promise you. If you're liking what I'm doing on these podcasts, please support me. Easy to do. Just press that $sign. It'll be a yen soon, won't it? Or whatever the Chinese... Is it yen in Chinese? I don't know. Anyway, press the $sign and donate a few quid to keep this going, or a lot of quids, whatever you want to do, or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Are we working for the Chinese? There's the question. How have we allowed this to happen? A great, proud nation, the cradle of the Industrial Revolution, sold out to the Chinese. They've had us over, and they've taken away the biggest takeaway ever. And I'm not anti-Chinese. I don't blame them. Do you? Let's move on. Den Spinks, Miliband singing Blowing in the Wind showed how shit he really is. Oh, you're fuming. Jed Stevens has written, yawn. If you don't like it, Jed, guess what? You don't have to watch it. You don't have to get involved. It's not the BBC. We won't send you to prison if you don't pay. But off you pop. Off you pop. And if you think this is boring, there's something wrong with you. Den Spinks, that's a belter, says Richard Pope. Thank you very much indeed. Starmer needs to be forced to resign. Otherwise, we forced him out. I am getting sick of Starmer, says Roseth22. In case you're just joining us, we're talking about China. We're talking about this threat that has been outlined to us today by the head of MI5. We're also talking about, is Starmer selling us out? Is he trying to get trade deals rather than looking after our security? He's had to put on the back burner now the idea of this ridiculous thing that they were going to have a super embassy built on top of where we send our secret messages to our allies. We need a heads testing. On top of that, he's also backpedaling on the spying a bit, and there's going to be a full inquiry into it. But we don't need an inquiry, do we? It's quite clear from the way he answered yesterday, and you've all should have had a chance to watch that now, that he was lying. And I'm ready to be sued. I'm ready to be sent to prison by the stormtroopers. This man has to stop. This man is destroying our country. And net zero with Ed Miliband, he's to blame for a lot of why we've sold out. So we talk about the fact, oh, we're carbon neutral or we're getting there. We're not really, because we've just offshored it all to China or India. It's stupid. Michael, evening, John. There are 120 electric vehicle manufacturers in China. JQ5, a copy of the Range Rover, is 28 grand fully loaded. BYD sell more than Tesla. Bring back British Leyland and Red Robbo. Well, I don't think I'd go that far, Michael, but it's interesting. The car you're talking about, the JQ5, that's the motor I was telling you about. Two of them were in JLR country, in Coventry yesterday, parked next to each other. They look smart. I've got to tell you, I don't know how they drive, but they look really smart. And I thought they were Range Rovers. Then I saw the sign on them and realised, no, these are Chinese imports. Why? How? When? When they've clearly ripped us off. They've clearly ripped off our engineers, our inventors, and our workers. What's Starmer going to do about it? Hi, John. I totally agree with you about Starmer. Thank you very much. Whose side is our PM on? PM on? That's the question. Oh, I read that one out earlier. Thank you, Frank. It's a great point, Frank. I don't know. I think he's on their side. I don't think he's on the side of the British working man. Well, certainly not the British white working man, is he? He doesn't look like he's on the side of British Jews either. All he said is kind words. What's he done to stop another attack? A few coppers outside a synagogue. We should be weeding out the Islamist scumbags within our communities, the ones who are inciting the trouble. Not an attack on all Muslims, but on the people who hate our very way of life. How many more girls need to get raped by the flip-flop warriors? There's another case in the courts today. You literally couldn't make up this shit. Denmark, Australia, the United States of America, Germany now. They're all getting tough. They don't want these people and they're getting rid of them. They're deterring them. Not Starmer. He stands there wringing his hands and does sweet F.A. And I know you might think I'm obsessed with getting in the sack. And you'd be right. I am. I'm going to dance on his political grave when he goes. He's got to go. He is wrecking this country. Sue me if you like. I got no money, Mr. Starmer. Do whatever you fancy. But you won't shut me up. Lisa Carvel. Keir loves JLR so much. I saw him roll up to number 10 in a BMW a couple of days ago. Lisa, don't kick me off on that one. No government minister should ever be in a car that isn't built in Britain. Now, I know some BMWs, the little minis and stuff, are now built at Cowley, aren't they? And I've got no problem with the Indians owning Tata and owning Jaguar. I've got no problem with foreign ownership, but the cars must be manufactured here. He should be in a Jaguar, shouldn't he? That's the car he should be in, and all top ministers' estate. But no, they want a virtue signal. I'm going to go in one of those shitty little electric cars. Yeah, that's what they do. Ed Miliband, though, he's the real enemy within. Are you with me or against me? Kevin Cunning, John, Labour haven't got one business brain between them. Starmer has got to walk the plank. I agree, Kevin. And Kevin, thank you very much. He's just given me a super sticker on YouTube for a $5. It's $4.99 it comes up. So if you'd like to do that, press the $sign and donate a $5 or a couple of quid or a tenner. Some people have donated 100 quid, not recently, and it's great. Whatever you can put in the pot, thank you very much indeed. This show is now up to 1.7 million views. We are motoring. We're well on the way to 6,000 subscribers. I got an email today. I think we're in the top something percent of YouTubers now who actually get to that kind of level. Hasn't turned into any money. I'm not a millionaire yet, Rodney. Don't think I ever will be. I'm the most useless businessman in the world. Let's move on. Let's go to Craig Marson, regular. Hi, John. I totally agree with you about Starmer. We've been getting scammed by China. We certainly have. Or Richard Pope, they even had the cheek to set off COVID and deny it after. Well, those things are still up in the air, aren't they? But I know what you mean. But that whole thing about the lab where these things were being manufactured, don't forget there was, unfortunately, American money in that. And you can trace some of that back to Barack Obama as well. So there's a lot of people with a lot of guilt, my friend. I wouldn't totally blame that on the Chinese, but I would. Actually, I don't even blame the Chinese nicking our Range Rovers. Why haven't we stopped it? Why haven't we stopped it? The British universities are going to go, well, they are going bankrupt left, right and centre because they've relied too much on foreign students. So they've developed and they've got these massive buildings. I went back to Birmingham University. It was hardly recognisable. But it was obvious the bubble would burst eventually. And now the Chinese say, oh, no, we'll have our kids in unis in our country. That's the kind of government. No, we don't want a communist government, but that's the kind of attitude. It's like Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump's got on the blower today and had a go at Putin. And now both him and Putin are saying, oh, we're finding a way forward. Hopefully that will happen with Zelensky. This is what we want. So many of those people who are going on those hate marches, they don't want peace. They want to be able to keep slagging off Donald Trump and Jewish people because they hate Jews. It's got nothing to do with free Palestine and everything to do with the oldest hatred in the world, which is Jew hatred. And by the way, I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Jew. I just think it's a disgrace. And I think it's a disgrace that he isn't protecting them. And he isn't protecting us. There's going to be another terrorist attack. Of course there is. Because he's done nothing to stop it. There's going to be more rapes and sexual offences carried out by flip-flop warriors. There's a story in Bournemouth. Did you see the names? I mean, I'm not saying they're guilty. We don't know. But they're 3 Egyptians. Why are they in the country? I'm not saying they're guilty. I'm saying they have been arrested for rape of a 35-year-old woman in Bournemouth. When is he going to stop playing Russian roulette with our girls, our daughters, our mums, our wives, our sisters? And when's he going to protect British jobs? Why haven't we got any proper manufacturing jobs anymore? And then we're told, oh, yeah, but we'll be part of the AI revolution. No, we won't. No, we won't. It's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. And I do believe he was putting trade before security. If you disagree, I want to hear from you. Jackie Ward. Hi, Jackie. Starmer is certainly not on our side. It smacks of backhanded deals. What other reason is there for selling out the security of our country? Time and time again, he puts us last. Starmer is a traitor. Well, I don't know if it's about backhanders, Jackie, but it does seem that he's got a problem with working class people. That's why he doesn't use the word class. He always says working people. Then you ask him to define it, and he can't define what working people are. And he won't use the word class. And then he says, my dad was a toolmaker. You do know that's complete and utter bullshit. His dad was a toolmaker, but he owned the factory. I had a mate at university, a great bloke, and his dad was a fantastic bloke. He invented, or his granddad invented, the putty stuff that you used to put round joints, yeah, for plumbing. Very wealthy man. Comes from a kind of working class background, but they became middle class because they invented this thing. It's just ludicrous. It's getting right on my tits, I tell you. Really is annoying me the way Starmer makes out he's one of us. He's not one of us. And then he never defends us, does he? And any opportunity to have a go at the real working class is there. And that's why this thing about Aston Villa, I've got no time for the Villa, as you know. But they've been told they can't have away fans because the fans are supporting a team from Tel Aviv, which last time I looked was in Israel. Because the police can't guarantee their safety. What a bloody disgrace. What a bloody disgrace in a democracy like ours that we can't be welcoming and let these people in. And it's no surprise that it's in Birmingham, which is fast becoming the Islamist state of the UK, isn't it? Just a joke. I'm not suggesting that every Muslim in Birmingham is an Islamist. Of course I'm not. But what I'm saying is we've got to get on top of this. Put our people first. Be like Donald Trump. Make America great again. Remind me, says Tom, on what grounds is Starmer a traitor exactly? Because I'm curious how that claim would survive 5 minutes in a court of law. Oh, Tom, you're such a lefty beast, aren't you? Oh, you've got me there. He's a traitor because he puts the rights of other people before us. He's a traitor because he's a liar and he's a coward. And if he's done a deal with China before the security of his people, he's a traitor, in my opinion. Tom, take me to court, you scruffy git from your avatar. Mind you, so am I. Tom, thank you for your comments. Let's move on. All our electrical phones, computers are Chinese. They're watching us anyway. It's not a new thing. I think that's a very good point. I tell you what, I got fed up of my phone. Are you fed up where you get adverts now on Facebook and on Twitter and indeed just in general on your Mobi? They are listening, or somebody's listening. Where's all that information going? And we've all been complicit in it. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's move on. Den says the old saying goes, let the dragon sleep. Does it? I don't know that one. Starmer sounds like a Dalek. Well, he's got the personality of a Dalek. That's for sure, Nick Fox. Thank you very much indeed. Where are we going next? Successive governments of all colours have sold us out from at least the 70s. And that includes the unions. I think to a certain extent, Paul, you're right. I did say that at the beginning of the programme. It didn't start with Starmer. Where are we going next? Paul Robot. Oh, sorry, I just read that. I wonder who caused the cyber attack on JLR. Starmer must decide on the new Chinese embassy next week, which is going to be the largest in Europe. Well, two things on that, Michael. They've put back that decision. Ooh, there's a surprise. They need a few more weeks to consider it. He is up to his neck in it. So the embassy at the moment is on hold. Your point about JLR is a very good point indeed, because the head of MI5, he said, this is the kind of bad actor work that is going, just to mean in Emmerdale, it's the kind of work that's going on and it's state functioned. Do you remember the case of the Russians? And then the Russians came in and killed that bloke allegedly in, where was it? Not in Bath, was it? Salisbury. They were all over it. The Russians eat our babies. The Russians are this, the Russians are that. Why aren't they like that about China? We have had lots of these attacks recently. What are the drones over the airports, etc.? I don't know if it's the Chinese, but you won't find out, will you? You will not find out from the government, especially if they're in bed with them, trying to get trade deals. And they're trying to get trade deals because they know Ed Miliband's targets aren't going to be hit. They know that we are now energy dependent on other countries if the wind doesn't blow. And we are giving up our car manufacturing industry as well because we're being told we've got to go all electric. It's just madness. Absolute madness. There. Boss White, I think it was called, John. My dad was a plumber. Well, actually, the one I'm talking about was called Hawk White. It's probably the same stuff. I don't know. He was a very good friend of mine at university. Nice guy. Not seen him for years. Josh Gold Bullion. I think the whole China scam got me thinking, this whole Chagos Island surrender, is it all planned? I can see where you're drawing the lines, Josh. I really can. I really can. Because there was no logic behind that. Hold on, we'll let Mauritius have our land, and then we'll pay them millions, billions for the privilege of giving it them. Doesn't add up. And what I can't stand, I look back today at what Starmer said in Parliament yesterday. It was all clever words, not quite going the whole way. So no one could quite, he thought, say that he'd lied, because you can't lie in Parliament. That's what did for Boris Johnson in the end, wasn't it? But when he said no or yes or whatever, he did a one-word answer. He thought he was dead clever. But that was the moment where he stitched himself up. Because if he is lying, He's finished. I think he's finished anyway, and I think we need to get rid of him. We need him to resign, or we need the Labour MPs, because technically he could stay for another 4 years. They need to revolt and say we don't want him as the leader, because they may as well, because you're not going to get elected again, guys and girls. People hate you, maybe not as much as they hate Starmer, but you're going to get the backlash. And as I said yesterday, we've got a perfect replacement in Nigel Farage and Reform. I thought we'd get some football fans talking about this banning of fans from Tel Aviv at the Europa match. But no one's reacted to that. Is that the kind of country you want to live in, where the police are effectively are saying, we can't guarantee your safety? What does that say about the United Kingdom? I'm going to finish in a minute, so if you want to get a comment in, you've got to get them in now. Pam Millett, I'm totally with you, John. I'm totally sick of what's happening to our country under this traitor. Oh, careful. Jim will have you in court. I'm also worried about these teenage girls that are going missing. Well, going missing, being raped, children going missing. Look at that. The rape gang scandal. They still haven't found a judge who's willing to do the inquiry, or that's their excuse. How much longer must those girls, many of whom now are fully grown women, how much longer must they go on without justice? This isn't Britain. This isn't my country. I don't know what's going on. Do you? Disgraceful. Lisa Carver. Oh, thank you, Lisa. He's put a super sticker in on YouTube for me for £5. Lisa, I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much indeed. It all helps to keep these podcasts, these broadcasts going and developing. And without your help, I couldn't do that. So I want to say thank you very much indeed. If you'd like to donate like Lisa or the people earlier today, all you do is click the little dollar sign and donate whatever you can afford. Or, and you've been very slow on this the last 10 days or so, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, and you can donate there. You can either buy me a beer or a coffee. All goes to help these things keep going. So thank you very, very much indeed. I've got to stop in a minute because I've got to feed me mother-in-law, and she'll be eating the sofa if I'm not careful. Where are we going next? Craig Mawson. John, to me, Reeves sounds like Starmer in a wig. Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wouldn't be able to get that image out of my head now, Craig. Will I? Den Spinks. Enjoyed tonight's show, John. There's no H in my name, son. Thanks very much. No problem at all. Thank you for watching and listening. So that's me done. I think this China story is not going to go away. I think more's going to hit the fan. Well, tomorrow, you see, he must live his whole life thinking, oh, it's Friday. Oh, it's the party conferences. Oh, he's always got a little island to try to get to. He's just useless. And you know what makes me so mad about Starmer? Is the way he came in and he was going to be whiter than white. He was the new moral crusader. There was going to be no corruption until he was offered tickets to go to see Taylor Swift, or a new suit, sir, by Lord Alley, or glasses, all of which he's never really, or Arsenal tickets. He's never really told us why he took it. If he was meant to be the candidate for change, and then his manifesto, well, it was just bullshit, wasn't it? Absolute bullshit. And I just think, look, we've got to get on with it. Let's get rid of these people. And then people say, yeah, but Nigel Farage, he hasn't got the strength in depth, which I kind of agree with. But he can't make much worse a job, can he, than these Muppets. Jackie Ward sent me 3 red hearts. Thank you, Jackie. And thanks for your contribution tonight. I might boycott Chinese takeaways. Laugh out loud. I'm glad you're joking, Richard, but it's not individual Chinese people who's to blame, is it? It's not even the Chinese. See, I admire them. I respect them. They've gone, we'll have that. We'll copy that. When I was making T-shirts, I had a little T-shirt company once, and we'd do designs, and suddenly they'd be ripped off by these companies. And somebody else told me in China, there's whole towns, right, they've created where the people manufacture dodgy goods. basically cheaper versions of what we in the West create. It was impossible with the t-shirts because they could produce them for peanuts. I'm sure it's the same with the cars. Craig Mawson, thank you, John. Take care. Yeah, I'll take care. Don't worry. Anyway, so that's me done. Thank you very, very much indeed. Oh, that's a nice way to end it, Josh. Josh Goldbullion says, I love Chinese culture, but I hate the Chinese Communist Party. That's a good way to sum up how we should feel about this. It's not individual Chinese people, is it? Of course it isn't. Never is. It's always the people with the money, the power, the oppression. You can apply that to quite a few communities, can't you? Right, that's me done. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh no, it's Friday. I don't do a show Friday, although I think there's going to be developing stories, so I may well do one at a different time. I will be doing one Sunday, but it'll be earlier than normal because it's Lisa's birthday. And then I'm back Monday, back to normal at 6:30. If you can help me out, please go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate a $5 or something like that. That'd be brilliant if you could do that. Also, you can just click and give me a super sticker or whatever, or a thanks, whatever they're called, here on YouTube. And the biggest thing to do is to join John Gaunt TV. Go to John Gaunt TV on YouTube if you haven't already, and a little pop-up comes up and it says, do you want to subscribe? Doesn't cost anything. Subscribe. Then you'll know whenever I'm doing a show, especially the extra ones, but it all helps my numbers, if you understand. It doesn't cost you a penny. You then get access to all my archive. It was interesting today. I looked back. I knew I'd done one about our over-dependence on China. It was an audio podcast before I started doing the YouTube thing. It's on my YouTube channel. You'll find it. And there was 36 people who watched it or listened to it. 36 compared to what we're getting now. So it kind of was good, but it was still as relevant today as it was when I recorded it about nearly a year ago. So like I say, there's all those in the archive. John Gaunt TV on YouTube. Right. Thank you very much indeed. EastEnders time. That's me done. Thank you very much for joining in, and thank you for supporting me. It really is appreciated. Couldn't carry on without you. It's as simple as that. Right. Until we meet again, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.